We're often taught to run from conflict, right? To see it as a sign that something's broken. But what if that's completely wrong? What if every single disagreement, from the tiny squabbles to the huge blow-ups, actually holds the key to making things better? Today, we're going to flip the script on conflict. We're going to see it not as a battle to be won, but as an opportunity to build, well, to build just about anything. Let's dive in.
This right here, this gets to the very heart of it all. Conflict itself, it's not the problem. It's just a fact of life. I mean, anytime you put people with different ideas and different goals in the same space, you're going to have conflict. The real choice, the fork in the road, is what happens next. Do we let it tear things down, or do we use that energy to build something new? That choice is what this is all about. So let's start with that big question. When you hear the word conflict, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's probably something negative, like stress, or argument, or threat. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? Let's explore the two very different directions a single disagreement can go.
Look at this. It's like two different futures for any conflict. On the one side, you have the dysfunctional path. And we've all been there, right? The stress, the burnout, that awful climate of distrust where nobody wants to talk. But then look at the other side. When you handle it right, that exact same spark of disagreement can lead to amazing things. Innovation, better decisions, completely new ways of solving problems. The conflict is just the energy. Our approach is what decides where that energy goes.
Okay, so how do we get to those good outcomes? Well, it really starts with looking in the mirror. We all have a default setting, a knee-jerk reaction to conflict. You can almost think of it as your conflict DNA. So let's break down the 5 main styles that researchers have identified. As we go, see if you can spot which one sounds the most like you. First up is competition. This is the classic I win, you lose approach. You're focused on your goal and you're going to push for it. It's all about making sure your interests are met, with maybe not so much concern for the other person's. Now, it can be useful, say in an emergency, but if it's your only move, you're probably going to leave a trail of unhappy people in your wake. And on the total flip side of that, we have accommodation. This is the you win, I lose style. This is when your default is to say, you know what, it's fine, we'll do it your way, just to avoid a fight. And while yeah, it keeps things peaceful on the surface, if that's all you ever do, your own ideas and your own needs, they're never going to get a chance. Next up is avoidance. The let's just pretend this isn't happening style. You know there's a problem, but you just don't go there. You change the subject, you get busy, you do anything to not talk about it. But here's the thing about avoidance. The problem doesn't go away. It just festers under the surface, and it almost always comes back bigger and uglier later on.
Then we get to compromise. This is the one we often think of as the fair solution, right? The classic, let's just meet in the middle. And look, it can be super practical. Everyone gives a little, everyone gets a little. But the catch with compromise is that a lot of the time, nobody walks away totally satisfied. It's less of a win-win and more of a little bit of a loss for everyone.
And finally, we get to the one we should all be aiming for: collaboration. This is the true win-win. It's not about splitting the pie, it's about figuring out how to bake a bigger, better pie together. It takes a high concern for what you need and an equally high concern for what they need. Now, it's not easy. It definitely takes more time, more trust, more effort. But the results? They can be absolutely incredible. Okay, so knowing your default style is huge. But to really start aiming for collaboration, you need the right tools in your belt. So, let's open up our communication toolkit and look at the actual skills that can turn a heated argument into a creative conversation.
These 4 skills right here, they're basically the foundation of everything. You've got active listening, which is about truly hearing them out. Clear messaging, using I statements so people don't get defensive. Empathy, so you can connect with the real emotions behind the words. And nonverbal awareness, because let's be real, sometimes how we say something matters even more than what we say.
I really want to zoom in on active listening for a sec, because it is a total game changer. This isn't just about shutting up and waiting for your turn to talk. It's about giving someone your full, undivided attention. It's about showing respect. And then, and this is the magic part, reflecting back what you heard. A simple phrase like, okay, so what I'm hearing you say is, can instantly lower the temperature in the room and turn a fight into a real dialogue. All right, so we've got our tools, but you wouldn't use a screwdriver to hammer a nail. You've got to know what kind of problem you're actually dealing with. And it turns out, not all disagreements are the same. Figuring out what you're really arguing about is half the battle. And this slide breaks it down perfectly. You've basically got two types. Task conflict is about the what, the project, the plan, whose turn it is to do the dishes. It's solvable. But then you have relationship conflict. This is about who. It feels personal. It's about values or personality clashes. And here's the danger. If you handle a simple task conflict badly, it can really easily spiral into a much more painful relationship conflict.
So, you have the right tools, and you know what kind of conflict you're in. But what happens when things still go off the rails? When you say that one thing you immediately regret and you can just feel the negativity start to spiral? This brings us to what might be the single most powerful tool we have, the art of the repair.
This number, 5-to-1, it comes from some incredible research by Dr. John Gottman. He found that the secret to successful, lasting relationships isn't that they don't fight. They do. The secret is that they maintain a ratio of at least 5 positive interactions for every 1 negative interaction. Think of it like an emotional bank account. You have to keep making these little positive deposits so that when a conflict forces a withdrawal, you don't go broke.
So how do you get back on track when things are getting heated? Through something called a repair attempt. It's basically any little gesture that pumps the brakes on that downward spiral. And what's amazing is how simple these can be. Look at these examples. They're not some big, dramatic apology. They're small moments of connection. I'm sorry. Can we just take a break? That came out all wrong. Each one is a little signal that says, hey, our relationship is more important than this fight.
So you can think of this whole process as a kind of relationship rescue mission in 3 steps. First, you separate. You have to separate the person from the problem. The issue is the overflowing trash can, not that you don't love each other. Second, you resuscitate. Before you even try to solve the problem, you renew the connection. Say something kind. And finally, you address the real issue. Is this fight really about being 5 minutes late, or is it about a deeper need to feel respected and valued? Solving that is how you actually win.
At the end of the day, the big takeaway is this. Conflict isn't something to fear. It's a tool. And like any tool, it can be used to build or to break. Every single disagreement gives us a choice. We can let it create distance and damage, or we can use it as a powerful opportunity. An opportunity to understand someone better, to find a more creative solution, and to build a connection that's even stronger than it was before. So the next time you feel that tension rising, just remember you have a choice. What will you build with it?